Why does humanity persistently dismantle even the most stable social orders, only to architect new structures from the fragments of the old? We must explore this mystery. When we examine the vast and intricate tapestry of human history, we observe a singular, repeating pattern across every era and civilization that reveals our drive for change. Once a society establishes a certain order and enters a period of stability, that very order eventually begins to generate new problems that challenge its original purpose. Ancient agricultural societies created social order to ensure collective survival, yet that very order eventually birthed rigid social hierarchies that began to limit human potential. These hierarchies, originally intended for organization, ultimately led to inevitable conflicts and tensions within the human collective, forcing a search for a more equitable structure. The medieval feudal system was specifically designed to provide local security and prevent chaos after the collapse of old empires, offering a temporary shield against uncertainty. However, over the centuries, this order transformed into a restrictive structure that suppressed individual potential and stunted human freedom, leading to a demand for liberation. The modern industrial society maximized efficiency and production, fundamentally altering the global economic landscape at an unprecedented pace, promising prosperity for the entire human world. Yet, this system created a new crisis by treating human beings as mere components of a mechanical process, eroding the human spirit and leading to deep social alienation. Every order is initially architected to solve a specific problem, yet inevitably it becomes the catalyst for the next one, proving that no human system is ever final. Therefore, humanity is compelled to continuously recreate order as the cycle of systemic challenges never truly ends, but rather evolves into more complex and demanding forms. Social order is not a finished monument to be preserved. It is a dynamic and perpetual process of constant renewal and adaptation to the realities of our experience. In our contemporary era, we stand at another massive turning point, facing a profound global systemic shift that will redefine our relationship with technology and society. Artificial intelligence and the digital economy are rapidly destabilizing the foundations of traditional orders we once firmly trusted, ushering in a world where speed determines reality. Lifelong employment is no longer a certainty, and the state's ability to control individual lives is being challenged daily as personal autonomy and digital connectivity expand globally. Information is no longer concentrated in a central core. It is being decentralized and empowered at the individual level, shifting the locus of power from institutions to individuals. The frameworks of the past are no longer sufficient to manage the extreme complexities of our current global reality, leaving us in a state of intellectual and social flux. People everywhere are starting to ask the critical question, is this society truly functioning in a way that is just? This query itself marks the beginning of change. The very moment this question is voiced, the seeds of a new social order have already begun to take root in our collective imagination, preparing to bloom. Our core insight is this: humans are not mere discoverers of order, but its deliberate and conscious designers capable of reshaping our world through our shared will. Academic research consistently demonstrates that social structures are not natural occurrences, but products of human agreement and interpretation that we have the power to reconsider and change. These structures are perpetually reconstructed through our shared understanding, our laws, and the meanings we choose to assign to them, allowing for a continuous evolution of our identity. Our laws, institutions, and economic systems are, at their core, nothing more than a series of deep collective promises that we make to one another to maintain order. When these promises no longer align with our experienced reality, we must find the courage to negotiate entirely new ones, even if it means stepping into the unknown. Order is never absolute or eternal. It is a temporary framework that must adapt to the evolving spirit of the age to remain relevant and effective. As imperfect beings, we cannot conceive a perfect system, and thus we are destined to refine it forever, finding beauty in the constant effort to improve our existence. The transition between orders is not a sign of failure, but the fundamental and necessary way humanity progresses forward, reaching higher levels of collective organization. The most vivid illustration of this perpetual evolution is found within the history of our currency and money, where value has shifted from the physical to conceptual. In the distant past, the value of money was tethered to the physical weight and scarcity of gold and silver, reflecting a world where value was material property. As industrial economies expanded, physical metals became insufficient, leading to the emergence of paper currency as a new standard based on trust rather than just weight. In our digital age, Physical cash is being replaced by invisible electronic transactions and global credit networks, further abstracting the concept of value into data pulses. Now, we are exploring cryptocurrencies as the next major transformation of how we store and exchange value, moving toward a decentralized foundation for our economy. Ultimately, money is not a material object but a manifestation of our collective trust and shared human belief. It exists only because we all agree it has value. The moment we collectively recognize its value, it becomes money. Without that consensus, it remains just mere paper, proving value is a social construct. Social order, like money, is not an objective reality, but the result of a profound and living social contract that we participate in and can rewrite together. We see another powerful example in the radical shift of how we define the concept of human labor, from physical toil to digital and intellectual creation. For decades, dedicating one's entire career to a single company was the unquestioned standard of a successful life, providing a stability that has now largely disappeared. Today, the norms have shifted toward remote work, platform labor, and a more fluid professional identity, where the individual is responsible for their own unique path. This shift was triggered by a simple question: must our work be tethered to a specific physical space? This realization has liberated millions from the traditional office. Order always trembles when we dare to ask new questions, and in that tremor, a new form emerges, showing our inquiries are the drivers of social change. In this state of fluid transition, the old systems are reevaluated and reshaped to better serve our present needs, just as clay is formed into a vessel. Now, the essential message is clear. Social order is not a rigid mountain, but a fluid, living system that we must engage with actively to ensure vitality. We must not blindly follow the dictates of the past, but reinterpret order for our own unique era, using the tools available to us to create better. There is no reason to fear the dissolution of the old, for change is the natural rhythm of our evolution, leading us toward more enlightened forms. The most critical skill is to maintain our sense of inner direction amidst the most turbulent social shifts, allowing our values to guide us through uncertainty. When you grasp the true nature of order, you no longer just follow rules. You understand their profound purpose and can work to improve them for everyone. You transition from being a passive observer of the world to being an active interpreter and designer of it, taking responsibility for your own shared future. Instead of anxiety about change, you begin to recognize the infinite opportunities that every systemic shift provides to create a more fulfilling way of living together. Human society remains in constant motion because it can never reach absolute perfection. Our drive for improvement is the very heartbeat of our human species. Order is not a final destination, but a journey. Stability is not an eternal state, but a fleeting moment to be cherished before the next wave. And so we continue to create new orders, fueled by our inherent desire to improve and evolve, weaving diverse threads into a unified whole. The world is beautiful because it is unfinished, and order is meaningful because it can be broken and rebuilt, often becoming stronger in its restoration. Humans are unique beings who create problems just to find more profound and beautiful ways to solve them, using creativity to transform crisis into new beginnings. Through this process of redesigning our world, we expand our consciousness and deepen our core human understanding of our place in the universe and each other. I hope this philosophical journey through history has helped you broaden your perspective and deepen your intellectual inquiry into the nature of our shared world. May your soul be enriched by these insights as you navigate the ever-shifting landscape of our modern society, finding your own path toward a meaningful life. I wish you only the most profound success as you continue your own path of discovery, growth, and the tireless pursuit of wisdom in all forms. If you found this exploration valuable for your life, please subscribe and like to support our continued scholarly reflections and help grow our global community. This content was authored and presented by Jongmoon Ko, also known as James Ko. We invite you to connect with us and share your thoughts. Our hashtags for today are social order, philosophical inquiry, and finally, nature of change. Thank you for your commitment to understanding. Additionally, we use Dark Humanities Insight, Garng Social Evolution, and Dan's Systems Thinking to connect with our global community of learners. Recommended search terms: why does social order change? Theory of social structure change, and systems thinking for deep resources. 4. Humanities lecture recommendation. 5. Future society outlook. 6. Evolution of human society. Explore further to build your perspective. Failing to adapt our orders often leads to stagnation, where the past becomes a heavy anchor for the future. A profound idea can be the spark that ignites a global shift in our collective social consciousness and responsibility. Our ability to think critically and redesign our world is our most potent species competitiveness, allowing us to flourish. Embracing new technologies is an act of creative survival that allows us to build bridges into the future. The depth of our thought ultimately determines the depth and quality of the lives we choose to lead. We want freedom, yet we need rules. This creative tension is the heart of our condition and social development. Gaining deep insight brings more significant change than a lifetime of mere experience without reflection to guide our path. We may fear failure, but we never stop challenging boundaries, driven by an unquenchable desire for a better world. Ultimately, the human spirit seeks profound meaning far more than it seeks simple comfort or static security. We must handle the power to shape order with wisdom and humility, lest we be destroyed by systems. This has been a presentation by Jungmoon Ko. Broaden your thinking, enrich your soul, and seek the truth. For inquiries, contact k90391198@gmail.com. Farewell, and see you in the next exploration of our human story. Goodbye.